Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to Don't Waste Your Time. This video may not be for you. My name is Purcell. This is the Powerwall edition. I'm starting to videotape now to show you some of the things to consider before you get a Powerwall. First, I was going to buy a Powerwall back in 2016, but my wife talked me out of it because we rarely ever lose power in this house. We've been in this house now for over 10 years, but back then, maybe about 8 years ago, we had a very bad storm and the lights flickered, was off for a couple hours and they came back on. Other than that, we haven't had any real issues. But as you know, global warming, the intensity of storms always was in the back of my mind that in case we do lose power, I might have an opportunity to buy a Powerwall. At least I can have some comfort that we won't lose electrical power and we can still do things normally. But again, my wife overruled me on that. Puerto Rico happened in 2017 and the Powerwall was delayed because Tesla shipped a lot of the Powerwalls to Puerto Rico, rightfully so, to help out the people of Puerto Rico in their issues. The first question is, do you want to have or need a Powerwall? Because it is a chunk of money. If you do some research on the internet, the pros and cons, and if you decide to get a Powerwall, this is what you need to do. First, you have to decide where you want to put the Powerwall, outside or inside. Now, my electrical panel is downstairs in the basement, right down there. And when I got my wall charger, my first wall charger back in 2015, they had a hard time running the wire from my garage all the way down that wall to my panel in the basement. They ran conduit, then took a 45-degree angle down, and they ran the wire to my panel, enable for me to get power here. I don't know if Tesla would even have the patience of trying to do that, so I decided to get Powerwall inside. So I would tell you what you have to look for and the things that you have to do in considering getting a Powerwall for your inside. But if you want to get a Powerwall for your outside of your house, it would behoove one to get it on the same side, obviously, as where your panel is. So if you see all of the power meter and everything like that, it would probably be nice to put a Powerwall right down here on the ground. It's waterproof, that's where it would be. Another option is you could put it in your garage, but if you put it in your garage, you have to have an unfinished wall. And although I do have a couple of walls that's unfinished, one there and one here, I just went back to the idea of all of the problems that they had running wires from here all the way down behind that cabinet and then angled down to run the wire to my panel box. That was such a pain. It took about 3 hours. My father used to be an electrician, God rest his soul, and I used to work with him sometimes in the summertime to make a buck. And I know how it is to be an electrician, but I also know how it feels to be frustrated when you're an electrician, when you think something will be easy, and then you start getting into it and you find problems, and then it delays the project. So I didn't want to do that. So I would go inside the house and I would tell you some other considerations about putting in a Powerwall on the inside. So this is my basement area. You have seen this before in videos when I was talking about my love of audio. So this is a third option. The first option was to have it outside, right next to your electrical box. The second option was to have it inside in your garage, unfinished wall. The third option is to place it inside your house. Now this area right here was an unfinished area for a number of years, and we just finished it off a couple of years ago. We used to use it for a gym, and we really don't use it anymore. We just really use it to collect my trophies from various car shows. I like that plug. But seriously though, nobody's in this room. I'm the only one down in the basement, but I'm never in this room. So I suggested to Tesla when I was talking to them on the phone, I can put it in here. And they said no, because potentially you can put a bed here. They don't want anybody to live or sleep in an area where the Powerwall is, which I thought was odd because again, nobody's using this room, but I guess for legal and liability purposes, it wouldn't work. And I thought it would be a great idea because here's my 2 panels. I can put a power wall right here and call it the end of the day. So they said, no, you have to have an unfinished wall. So then I began to really freak out, and I'm running around here trying to find an unfinished wall. There's an unfinished wall, but that's where my HVAC system is. And obviously no unfinished wall here. The only place I could put my power wall was behind this door. If I close this door, I can put the power wall right here. And that's where we decided to put it. So I will put the power wall here, and then they can run the wires up through here and over to the panel. So to recap, think about where you want to put your power wall. Do you want to put your power wall outside? Do you want to put your power wall in the garage? Again, in an unfinished wall. Or do you want to put the power wall in your house, again, on an unfinished wall? That's it. Once you make that decision, then you have other things to consider.